and it's nasty stuff coming down, and I hear it's tied into HAARP, that they both work together. And, any way you look at it, aluminum is a poison. It's a very toxic poison. Too much of it, you die. Or you become real stupid, and dysfunctional. And they're just like dumping, billions of tons of this stuff on us and acting like nothing's going on, as well as strontium and barium and a few other things. And people are getting sick all around the world, and as well as now they're finding biologicals in these things. And I was just down in Mexico, and we watched this jet fly right down the coast. And they did it last year, too, about the same time. And it flew right down the coast. The trade winds, brought it in. The offshore winds came in, brought the stuff in. And then everybody was just sicker than a dog. And that was the first year, they call it the norovirus. And,
right.
And I actually saw them deliver that, and people get sick right after that. And then this year, the same thing happened. They did the same thing. And I don't know what, I left right after they did it, and so everybody was getting sick, and I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling it myself right now, getting over this, whatever it is, some
right.
kind of virus or something. But,
that's part of the critical part in understanding what it is, because a lot of people think it is a virus, but the symptoms that we were feeling, the flu-like symptoms, actually the news had to come out and say that there was a flu-like symptom epidemic.
Yeah.
Explain that one. All right. What is a flu-like symptom epidemic? And they had no cause for it, and they didn't understand. And so a lot of people are trying to cure viruses when they're actually dealing, as you're saying, with heavy metal poisoning. Mm-hmm. Now, I have been one that's been tracking the chemtrails since 1996. And my first appearance of these were massive X in the sky in Florida. Now, the reason it stuck out to me because I used to sit in my backyard and watch all the rocket launches. I've seen every space shuttle launch. I've seen Apollo launches. Yeah, I've seen them all. And I've never seen two rocket trails crossing an X in the sky. And this was like, what is going on? I've entered World War III because this was the first time I'd ever seen such a thing. So it marked in my mind this very thing. And what began to occur right after that was this stuff would fall to the sky, to the ground, and it seemed that they did not really have their proportions set straight. And it was actually falling to the ground in a spider-like web substance. And when anyone would touch this, anyone would get any near, it would melt on you, and you'd had the flu immediately. And so then they, of course, came out with the flu-like symptom epidemic. Then we have all the recourses of the birds dropping dead from the sky. That was a little later on in the story. Kansas City, as far as I know, was one of the first ones, and I was right in the midst of that, thousands of birds dropping dead there. When we look to this puzzle and try to understand what it is, and it's just something I've been questioning for quite a while, you see that you've got this aluminum-barium conjunction compound coming down on you. Well, aluminum actually, of course, makes you a better receptor for radio frequency transmitters, and therefore HAARP, and you are now an antenna. Well, then on top of that, you have the barium, and the barium's really what's causing the flu-like symptoms mostly, and the achy joints and all of that. And the barium actually is what they feed you when you get an MRI so that they can see inside of you. Well, there just happens to be one radar system capable of detecting the barium in systems and therefore tracking. We all have barium tracking in us now, and it is known as the X-band radar. And the X-band radar shipped out of Texas on the Gulf on an oil rig the day before Katrina hit New Orleans. So now we know that Katrina was steered. We could see that clearly in the thermal imagery. You can see the lines pushing the storm. We saw that it turned, things of this nature. And then there was much other, as they were practicing, storms doing loop-de-loops out in the middle of the Atlantic, things of this nature.
Yeah.
But everyone forgot about that little X-band radar rushing around across the South America, going up to set itself up right next to the HAARP facility. So now we have the X-band radar in the HAARP facility there in Alaska, and we're being fed aluminum and barium.
Yeah, it's just, I think there's just this group here that just wants everybody as stupid little robots and on a timer. so they can get the population down. And you look at all the evidence, and I don't care what anybody says. They go, oh, they're doing weather modification and things like that. It's downright genocide when you get down to it. It's all about control and also too, it's the big pharma guys are really cashing in on this because it's making everybody sick, and they're just bleeding people slowly, of all their assets on their way out.
Mm-hmm. And doctors have no clue. They're looking at your symptoms as they do, and without killing you and cutting you apart, they'll never know. Because barium is very expensive to have it tested in your system. It's not like you can just go down there and say, hey, tell me if I have barium in my system. And so the doctors are just looking at the symptoms and going, oh, well, it looks like you have the flu. Here's some Tamiflu, thank you, Dick Cheney, or, so yeah, and it's not even the problem. And doctors aren't thinking about chemtrails. They're not taking it into account. How bizarre is it, James, that when we go and point these things out to people, you see the grid up there, and they don't even see it. Have you had that, encountered that?
Yeah, they go, oh, those are contrails. And I go, really? I mean, we're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no pattern. There is Portland Airport, but they fly up and down the Columbia to that, and you can see the planes coming in and out pretty far away. But, I mean, our whole sky here is checkerboard, and we're the last town. Beyond that is just pure wilderness area, and they're hitting that area too. So it's just amazing, what is going on, the extent of it now, and how they're getting away with it without anybody challenging it. Not one, that What on Earth Are They Spraying was a great movie, they brought out, because it showed how not one senator would even touch it.
Yeah, they ran. They literally ran.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Mike, and that was my favorite part of the whole movie for sure. Watching those guys run, that was insane.
Yeah, that was good, because they just did not want to even look at it, or you could tell they knew about it. They're just playing stupid or whatever, but I think they all have their tickets, and they probably have something to get rid of it. I don't know, they've probably given them a way out of it, and or they're just too greedy and they don't want to rock the boat, and they want to maintain their power base, so they're not going to touch it.
Well, I've definitely found that they are attacking the free people with these the most, at least back in the beginning, such as the Gem and Mineral Show in Tucson, which is a collection of people from all over the world that are self-sustaining. They work in cash, they sell their rocks, and they just move around. So we have some very rich free people without any sort of tracking agents, because it's generally cash working with them. And they chemtrailed the heck out of that Gem and Mineral Show, and everyone got sick. And I sold a bunch of DVDs because I told them all what they were going to feel the day before. Like, tomorrow, this is how you're going to feel. And if you want to know more, check out my DVD, because I had a film on chemtrails back in 2005. So, yeah, they are targeting these type of population. Another thing is that there are many of us coming to mystical realizations. There are many of us realizing that we're in a spiritual war instead of a physical war. And there are many that are turning to the path of synchronicity and finding that the universe actually loves them and wants them to live and will guide them to opportunities that they had never considered. This is my life in a nutshell. And these type of people are absolutely targeted as well, because we tend to get into outside groups. Like myself, I go out with the Rainbow Living Family of Living Light every summer. We meet up in a national forest for the 4th of July. 30,000 people gather in harmony, every creed, every religion, just living in harmony, eating for free. There's only 2 rules out at Rainbow, and that's no money and no alcohol allowed. Anything else goes, and you'll find that humans are beautiful, loving, nurturing, caring beings that want to do nothing more than take care of their fellow man. And these are the type of people that they're truly afraid of. And rainbow gatherings are consistently hit with these technologies beforehand, before anyone's ever knowing about them. Rainbow was hit with some severe weather modification. We were hit with a blizzard in a 90-degree day. It was probably more like 97. And if Alan Watt hadn't reported on it as well, I would have not believed my own memory when the blizzard hit in the Middle East, in the desert. And I that's one of those memories where your brain goes, well, I'm not so sure that's real. But So there's us, the synchromystics that are coming out, and we can change all of this simply with our care and concern for life as we know it, and that's the true path out of this whole madness, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, there just needs to be a whole, with conscious and energy, just a huge influx of that higher vibrational energy to come in, which I know it is coming in, and I think there is going to be a major revolution here, and it's not too far away, and people are waking up really fast, and I don't think they planned on people waking up as fast as they are starting to wake up.
Yeah, I don't think they thought I was going to come out with my Obama Akhenaten thing this fast. I felt them backtracking big time. I've done that to them a number of times, Anna Nicole Brittany and Mind Control. If you knew the truth of that story, it would blow your mind. And you finally end up with the baby being a spawn of Hitler, given $1 billion by a Nazi oil tycoon. That's little Danny Lynn, the last survivor of Anna Nicole's family. Bizarre story. So I've definitely forced them into backtracking or trying to cover their tracks a few times, and so that's something we can do. But we always have to be concerned because they are programming what I call the dark hero into each and every one of us, and this is the idea of violent justice. And we see this again in Matrix and V for Vendetta. All of our modern heroes are psychopathic killers. They even killed off Superman and Batman and replaced them with fallen angels, Azrael and Hellspawn. So we have to be very careful not to feel justified in our violence, and that violence is not justified at all, and that this transition can happen without any of it. And the best agenda to follow is the friendship agenda, because the more and more people realize that they have other loving, nurturing, caring beings around them, the less post-traumatic stress disorder they'll suffer from, and we can start to cure ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so I want to make sure and people can get a hold of some of the things you've talked about, your DVDs, and check out your website. So what's the best way for people to connect with you?
Well, it is freemantv.com, and everything I've ever done is free there, and you can track, and everything's archived. Great.
That's a good way to do things. I'm sure it's going to get out to a lot of people and has gotten out to a lot of people. And I've got to go. I haven't looked at that Obama morphine, and I'm going to go check that one out right away because I've heard about it, but I haven't had a chance to research it. And I've been pretty much gone for the past. I've been in Hawaii and just got back from Mexico for 3 weeks there, and now I got to start doing my homework. But
I know what you mean. It'll blow your mind, my friend James. This thing, especially if you go to the radio show, if you go to the Free Zone or Radio Freeman, I do a number of different shows. I do a TV show, I do 2 radio shows, and then I also do writing, and I'm also on many other people's shows, as you've seen. And you go through there back to the time when I discovered this and just follow the storyline because it unfolds live on the air as I start to realize these things. And you can see my whole process right there before you. And it's an amazing ride.
Yeah, hopefully others will take that same ride and check it out and see what it's all about. Well, anyway, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. I know we could probably do a couple more hours, so we'll probably have to get you back on again real soon.
That'd be great, and I'd love to come out to your ranch sometime if it's ever possible.
Definitely. We'll set that up.
Fantastic.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, James.
Well, we're out of time. This is James Gunn with Contact Has Begun, and hope you enjoyed the show, and be sure and check out that website, and check out those the cloning. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to go check that out myself right away. So anyway, have a good day. Good night.